Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, Quick Hit. Balthazar on creating their unique sound.
You mentioned that you had a six piece. Now you're in a trio. What are the differences? Do you feel the trio is more nimble for you
So
beyond the
challenging.
financial?
Oh yeah, I mean, from a musician thing, it was like it's so hard to jam because there's not a rhythm section behind you. You don't have keys. You don't have a rhythm player. So I had to completely restructure the way I played. Like I could be less of a lead player, and I had to be like both things at the same time. And I realized reverb and delay became my greatest ally. So that way I could sound big, but at the same time I could do huge voicings because I didn't want to go like the distortion, like the Black Sabbath or the Jimi Hendrix direction, just cranking up the overdrive and making it loud. Rather, I wanted to keep doing like nice chords and nice embellishments, but at the same time being a lead creature, and so I stuck with my. I'm not gonna call it like a Jerry tone. It's just like a clean Fender sound, but just going a little overboard with the reverb and delay and the way I play. I guess that was the biggest change. I guess.
There you go. Let's jump into you have all these influences in there and you can really pick them out, but you also create a cohesive whole out of it. Can you go into a little how you work that?
Well, I think the cornerstone is my little psychedelic '60s spirit right there, which is like that's never going away. That's pretty much the reason I'm a musician. Just watching the Woodstock movie when I was like 17, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's me right there. So that's never going away. The psychedelic aspect and the improvisational aspect. But with Joanna and having people there, it really started looking like, hey, let's incorporate other stuff that I like listening to more other than just playing to. And it's like I'm a huge Sade kind of fan. I'm a huge Thievery Corporation, like down tempo, which is still very psychedelic, just like a more like a '90s kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where we started, and little by little we started adding other things like disco and then obviously cumbia because that's like what we're exposed to here all the time. And yeah, I think that's like kind of our we can go further with other, like with other influences.
I definitely hear the Middle Eastern thing, and you do the
Oh
surf
yeah.
rock. I have another podcast I did about punk rock, but I did a whole thing about Dick Dale and talking about the Turkish influence on writing Miseralil. And then I relate that back to the Middle Eastern flavors you get, which is something you don't hear much at all.
Yeah, actually, you're totally right. And I don't know why, since I started playing guitar, I always had an affinity for my fingers. Love that those kind of scales and things like that. And I guess also, Tool, but no, not really. After that was very much when I was younger. I think it was like I did have this crazy phase a couple of years ago when I was listening to a lot of Turkish psychedelic rock, like Erkin Koray and Barış Manço, and just in general a lot of Turkish music. And I loved how all these Turkish musicians, they were just much like in the American '60s, they were folk musicians that got electrified by
The plugged
the
in, right?
Stratocaster and all of that. And that felt so good and so nice. Like, and I didn't want to switch to a ethnic instrument or something like that. I love the electric guitar. I think just like Dick Dale, it was like he was inherited like a Greek folk song. He didn't have like a little Greek oud at his
Right.
disposal, so he might as well just do it with his Strat, because he
Yeah.
had it there.
Exactly. How do you guys approach songwriting? Do each of you come with your own stuff? Do you get together as a group and it's let's see what we can make out of thin air?
It's been changing because when it comes to album one, two, and three, that was basically me at the helm of the whole thing, and Joanna there by my side as my spiritual advisor, and she would sing vocals occasionally. Album four, is the first time we actually work together as a band, and like we've only released one song from that album. It's called Coconut Water, so that would be like our first true testament as a working band, working, equal parts in the creative thing. And but yeah, usually when I make a song, I always go for the drums. Drums are my first thing. I think they define like the genre of the song, if it's gonna be like a funky disco thing, or it's gonna be a ballad, or it's gonna be. And then I go with bass, and then I go with guitar, and by the time I go with guitar, this song will usually let me know if lyrics are there, if there are any lyrics whatsoever, if they should be there, or if it's just an instrumental. And yeah, that's usually how we go for around it.
You'd call what you do psychedelic music, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
Right.
mean, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's the anchoring
That's
element.
fair. It's fair. How do you keep up the energy and cohesion during more extended instrumental sections?
Well, it's since there's only three of us, you don't really get the jam band problem of overextending or saying too much. Rather, you know very quickly when you're, because you feel it immediately, because there's not that many elements out there. So being on a three piece really makes you be more clear headed around it, and just say what you have to say. And so there's jams, but they never go like at the level of, I don't know, the Dead or Fish or your jam band, sort of. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Let's get into your albums. What the last album came out when?
September.
September. Okay. And you said you're already working on the next thing.
Yes, that was before we just signed up with a label in LA, and basically we recorded the fourth album a month before going on tour. And now we're progressively releasing the album, and we're hoping we're going to be releasing the whole thing like around the spring.
Where can we find the last one that's the complete album?
Third Vibration, which came out in September, and that's what's sounding right now. That's like what we've been playing a lot as well, like incorporating all of that into our set lists.
Right. Do you change night to night with the set list, or are you pretty standard?
No, no. I think we got that response in Colorado, and I was expecting it. Like there was that more than like a lot of people was like, "Oh, guys, I bought Boulder and the Fort Collins ticket. I'm gonna check you guys both nights." And it's like, "Yep, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it." So a few months ago, I was telling them like, "Guys, we could either go like the safe route, just make a show, 10, 13 songs, two encores, and just wrap it up and just play and say the same thing over and over, or we could go like I would like if you guys allowed it to me, let's just do 50 songs and a pool of 50 songs, and we'll just spread them out." And that's what we did. So we didn't repeat. We repeat some songs, but we kept it very different. From anyone that came to the shows can tell you that it was different, and they really enjoyed coming back for the second night, because it was another whole set of songs.
Now, your earlier albums, you said this all started with quarantine, so you've put out a bunch of material in a short amount of time, right?
Yeah, we started thinking like, how do we do this? Like, how much time does it take me to write a song, like a nice song, something that I'm proud of? Like, let's say a month. And it's like we've been releasing one song per month pretty much since the beginning.
How do you know when a song's done?
I think as an artist, you will always gonna get you're always gonna get the you can change something to it, but if you give yourself like a deadline, then that's it. Like no fooling around. You just gotta accept it as it is, and it will never be perfect, and that's okay.
You get it to 96% and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise you would never finish the masterpiece. And I know so many people like that they have never released a song, or they have just released one or two songs because they never feel it's ready yet.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.